What's up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today I have a super special guest, fellow coach. He's a super awesome coach, Logan DeCamp. I think he's the founder. Well, he is the founder. I might be saying this wrong. Of Champ Camp.
Yeah, Champ Camp Fitness and Champ Camp Fitness and Nutrition.
Champ Camp Fitness and Nutrition. And he's actually local in Utah, so I've gone to his mobility workshops, and they're really awesome. So if you're in Utah, I think the next one's September 6th. You were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys should definitely go to that one because I always feel great afterwards. But anyway, I'm excited to have him on and have him tell his story. So introduce yourself.
Thank you, Emma. I'll try and live up to your standards here. You kind of put me on a high pedestal, so I'll try and do my best. I appreciate your kind words. Real quick, before we get started, I do have a stutter, so you're probably going to hear me mess up on a couple words. I'm probably going to mumble on some things, so please bear with me as I'm still learning how to talk. But yeah, I'm Logan. I became a personal trainer in 2020. I've been working in person and online for the past 5 years. I've been able to coach people from 15 to 80 years old. That's part of the reason why I stayed at the big box gym for 3 years, because just got so much hands-on experience. And this wasn't my first line of work. I mean, I have a background in golf course management, and through my college background, I was able to do internships at a bunch of different golf courses in the United States, which was an awesome experience. But got to a point where I was living in Los Angeles, my childhood dream, and just was so depressed with my life. And it was a really, really hard year. And then the world shut down because of 2020. And, one thing led to another, and found my passion through fitness and nutrition, and decided to move to Utah, and here we are.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. And honestly, I mess up too with speaking, and I don't have a stutter. So I think it's going to be just fine. I tend to go off tangents and things, or have long pauses. So I'm not concerned about that at all.
Well, thank you, Emma. I appreciate it.
And that's crazy. So how did you end up in health and fitness from golf course management? How did you make that transition, and what led you to that?
Yeah, really good question. And as I've gotten older, I've tried to unpack that more. Like, how did I get here? Because I spent thousands of dollars and hours in golf course management and my degree and everything. And if we go all the way back to 2015, I moved to a small town in Monroe City, Missouri. I was a junior in high school, and I just moved from my hometown in Quincy, Illinois over. So it was a culture shift to move from a big city to a small city, and going from a high school that is like 1,000 students to a school that's like, my graduating class was 50 people, right? So it was a really, really big culture shift. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I moved there, my stepdad at the time and my mom were like, okay, you need to start getting better grades, because I was going down a dark path. And then they encouraged me to go to college and apply. And golf kind of saved my life, so I stayed in golf for about 5 years. And then I think early me, I had a hard time fitting in with people in high school and college. I would often, drink and smoke a lot and party, because I was just trying to fit in, and I was trying to, be that guy, that cool guy, I guess you could say, right? And I think for a while, I just always was trying to, set the bar high for myself and show off, like, oh, hey, I'm working at these cool golf courses. I went to the Ohio State University for a year to get a bachelor's degree. But I think part of it was just like, oh, hey, look at me. I'm kind of, trying to show more significance. And eventually I got to LA, which was my childhood dream, and I just kind of realized that two things kind of two things kind of hurt in my life is that one, I've been constantly trying to be more significant by showing off my achievements and accomplishments and trying to make others think I'm cool, but not actually be focused on what makes me happy and fulfilled. And two, I think a part of it too was that because I have a stutter and a speech impediment, I think I kind of limited myself in regards to what sort of career can I get myself into. Because being in golf course management, I mean, yeah, I have to talk with the crew, talk on the radio, but it's nothing like what I'm doing now in health and fitness and talking on podcasts and doing meetings and doing a bunch of speaking stuff that would scare the crap out of me 5 to 6 years ago, right? So in 2020, when the world shut down, it was kind of a blessing in a disguise for me because, and I know that it was the worst time in the year for the whole entire world, and my heart goes out to everybody. But for me, it just gave me time to step back away from work and just try and unpack why am I so unhappy and depressed with my life, and being able to slow down and figure out what I want to do next. I saw how my mom on her own journey lost over 100 pounds and positively
Wow.
changed her life for the better. And then two, I didn't realize this until later, until I started learning more about fitness and nutrition. But I think a lot of what I've learned could have potentially added some more years to my dad's life because he got diagnosed with cancer and heart disease, and he struggled with that for over a decade. So I got into fitness because I saw it change my mom's life. It helped me through some dark times in 2020, and I just, okay, this is what I'm going to try and chase because what I'm doing right now is it's not working. I don't like the person I am, so I just, in one decision overnight, I cut my salary in half and become a personal trainer at Fawcett Fitness in Utah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. And so COVID was like very terrible, but it was also the wake up call that I needed too. And so I mean, maybe the world stopped or had this whole event for a lot of people because I think a lot of people had like life-changing moments during that time or had the space to look on their life and look back on what they've been doing and really think about it and be like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. So that's really cool that you transitioned into that.
Yeah.
That must have been scary.
Very, very scary. I mean, I remember calling my mom when I was in LA and I was like, hey mom, I know I went to a college for the past 3 years. I have a bunch of student debt, and I've sacrificed a lot to get to where I am in my career of golf course management. But I think I'm going to leave all that behind and move to Utah and become a personal trainer. And did I mention that I'm cutting my salary in half? And she seriously thought I was like ruining my life, and she was crying, and it was a whole thing, right? I mean, it was scary. I mean, it was definitely a hard decision, but I just knew that where I was in LA, I just couldn't keep being that person,
That's crazy. I did a similar thing. So I was a software engineer and I went to undergrad and grad school and I left that to also be a coach. And so my parents, it took them a long time to like have that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's I resonate with that a lot. So what does your mom think now?
Yeah, my mom, I mean, we've definitely passed by that. It definitely took a while, but I think at the end of the day, if I'm doing what keeps me happy and fulfilled, then she's happy as well too. And I think it took her some time to realize that. I mean, in the moment, it was kind of a shock. I just went and stacked up a bunch of student debt at a school like the Ohio State, and it was just a big shock to a lot of people. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you're doing what keeps you happy and fulfilled, then that's what's more important in life. I mean, I think also too, I got so excited with chasing dollar amount, and if I go work at this golf course, I'm gonna be making more and doing this and this and that. But at the end of the day, that's not what keeps you happy and fulfilled.
Yeah, totally resonate with that. That's awesome. So how did you, or what was your fitness journey like growing up? And how did that get you into training and into what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I remember when I was like 13 or 12 years old, I wanted to go work out at the Y, but I think you got to be 14 years old. So I remember being really frustrated. I couldn't get in the weight room. That was really frustrating for me. So I finally got in the weight room at like 14 years old, no idea what I'm doing. And growing up, I used to be the guy that struggled to put on weight. I struggled to put on weight like a large majority of my life. It's kind of changed now because my lifestyle's changed a little bit. I mean, now I'm training for a marathon, so I'm actually consuming more food than it's an ungodly amount of food. But my fitness journey has been, I used to be obsessed with bodybuilding, and I got in the mentality of like 5 to 6 day workout splits, drinking these ungodly amount of calories and protein shakes because I struggled to put on weight. And I dabbled in that for a couple years, and then I've always been the type of person, because I've seen a lot of bodybuilders not have a lot of good mobility. So I've always been the type of person that has really tried to be more aware of my mobility. So I've been dabbling in that for ever since I would say probably in Los Angeles is when I really started to be more diligent about my mobility, because the world shut down. There's nothing else to do. And then when I moved to Utah later that year, I realized, okay, I'm a fitness coach. I came across this guy on IG. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I worked with him, and he was my first fitness coach that helped guide me to a bodybuilding show. I did that in 2021. I checked that off my list. And then as soon as I did that, I got, this bug that was like, oh, let's go do more. But thankfully my wife talked me down off of that. And I just kind of, for like the past, few years since 2021, wasn't really kind of chasing anything fitness specific, was kind of just focused more on my quality of life, really focusing on how can I, be more functional in my movement and in my day to day. And then last year, on my birthday, I turned 26, and I realized that I spent like a decade telling myself and clients that we shouldn't run, because I've seen all these articles that say running is hard on your joints, it causes injuries, and being the type of coach that helps people move pain-free and as much as possible avoid the risk of getting hurt, it didn't make sense for me to try running or tell other people to do it. But then I thought about, well, what's life without a little bit of risk? And that's a poor excuse not to do something, because I mean, every single sport, everything we do in life has risk. And unfortunately, I could walk out my door and hurt my hip. I mean, it's hard to say, right? So I started working with a running coach in the summer of last year, and one thing progressed to another, and somehow I'm running a marathon next month. So
that's awesome. So from bodybuilder to marathoner.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Cool. So during this training, how has it progressed, like nutritionally? Like how has your mindset changed nutritionally over the past like couple years from bodybuilding to marathon running?
Really, really good question. I'm glad you asked. So bodybuilding, it was kind of, now that I'm looking back on it right now, speaking with you, it was kind of like this, like, I would often try and tell the clients I'm working with that we shouldn't be obsessed with macros and counting calories and doing all this thing. But on the other end, I was training for a bodybuilding show, obsessed about macros, obsessed about calories, would often skip going out to eat because I have a very strict diet I'm trying to follow because I'm training for a bodybuilding show, which that requires me to get like 5% body fat for, right? So it was kind of a mixed match. Like I was not aligned with my purpose, I guess you could say, and more practice what I preach. So as I transition out of bodybuilding, I started to live more by like my word. I don't really track calories that much. I pay more attention to how food makes me feel. I know and understand, what a certain amount of protein looks like in my diet, which is all skills that we can build over time and that I teach our clients as well too. But then as I progressed into running, I realized my activity levels are starting to go up and I'm not eating enough. Like when I was training for my 5K, I remember, or even my half marathon, I remember that my coach was like, now this was like a whirlwind for me because I've always tried to stay away from added sugar because I know that that's not good for your gut. And there's a lot of other studies that show how impactful that can be on your health. But my coach was like, oh no, I need you to drink soda and stuff that has calories in it because I'm doing so much activity that added sugar is actually being used for energy. And I need those things to help me get enough calories and nutrients I need so I'm not losing weight at a rapid pace, because the faster I lose weight while running, the greater my risk of getting hurt is. So I've had to really kind of change my mindset to like, okay, I just need to not just go crazy, like just eat pizza and drink all these, do all this stuff, right? Like I don't do that because I still want to eat food and eat in a way that makes me feel good on a daily basis. And when I say feel good, I know that's like some ambiguous saying feel good, right? But what I mean by that is have more energy, have good bowel movements, be more productive, have more focus, being able to sleep good at night, not to have a lot of bloat, things like that, right? Like I'm trying to eat in that way, but I'm also being more mindful of like, okay, I need to make sure I'm eating a lot of carbs in my diet. I need to make sure that I'm actually like, it's not with me right now, but like I used to buy the no sugar body armors that you've probably seen. I'm like, no, I need the regular ones now that have the sugar, right? Sometimes, like not all the time, I'll drink a soda or two throughout the week, just trying to get some more calories. So that's been a really big shift for me, is going from staying away from added sugar to now like, oh no, I need those things because that actually gives me quick energy that I need to help fuel my performance for the specific type of activity that I'm doing.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I was a D1 athlete, and at the time I was like very restrictive with my food, so only whole foods. And I was training like 3 to 4 hours a day. Obviously, my performance was tanking. I was losing weight, which I had a poor body image, so I was excited about it. But yeah, I wished I knew then what I know now, because yeah, I probably did need to have just regular Gatorade around all day, just to get more carbs in. And so that's cool that you're realizing that's probably helping you recover quite a bit more and perform quite a bit better.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've actually gained 10 pounds while training for this marathon, which is kind of wild.
Wow.
And I don't think it's a lot of body fat. I mean, it might be a little bit, but like, here's the thing: when it comes to performance, aesthetics kind of takes the wayside a little bit. Like, if you're in the pursuit of performance, like you have to be eating in a calorie surplus, depending on the type of activity you're doing, of course. But the more you eat within a little bit over maintenance, the more you're going to be able to perform, the more you're going to be able to train harder and intense and not increase your likelihood of getting hurt. So I don't think all those 10 pounds I've gained has been body fat. Like, I do believe a lot of it's been muscle as well too, because um, I've had to buy shorts recently, not because my waist is not fitting, but because my legs don't fit them anymore, right? So I think some of it might be muscle. Of course, again, I can't really say, I'm just speculating because I didn't get any scans or anything, but I just think it's odd how I used to, for the longest time, think, oh, if I start running, and plus being the guy growing up that struggled to put on weight, running and doing all this stuff I'm doing now, I thought for sure I'd be dropping weight super quick, but I've actually gained 10 pounds.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But have you been training? I'm assuming you've been strength training alongside the running training. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, I typically do about 2 strength training sessions a week, but now since we're getting so close, I'm just doing one because we got about 4 weeks left. So I'm doing about 1 strength training day a week. But honestly, like, that's been the biggest thing, and this is kind of like a side tangent, is being a guy that struggled to put on muscle growing up. I used to think more was better, 5 to 6 day workout program. But what I didn't realize is I was also doing manual labor work. And then for a while, I used to drink a lot on top of that too, right? So like, we have all this stress and poor nutrition that's causing more stress. And we're just dumping more stress on it by adding more volume and frequency in my workouts. It's no wonder why I can't build muscle. And then when I shifted, and now of course this might not be the case for everybody, but a lot of our clients I've seen in our program, working out 2 to 3 days a week is like been a mind blowing experience. The amount of progress that I can make in regards to building muscle, being able to get stronger, and just overall feel better. Like, more is not always better, especially when it comes to performance, building muscle, and getting stronger.
Yeah, totally agree. I I was a D1 athlete, so tend to overdo it, I'd say, is an understatement. And I hired my first coach like in end of April. And I was training 6 days a week. He pulled me back to 4 days a week, and I lost weight because I lost inflammation.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost, like, and you can tell, like, from the first 2 weeks with him, like the progress photos, it was just like inflammation was like leaving my body. My face was less puffy. I felt better. I was recovering better. And it's funny because, like, people would think, oh, I'm a coach. Like you said, like, you probably train every day. It's like, nope, I just train 4 days a week, and I've got the best results I've ever gotten doing that.
Yeah. And I bet your joints felt better, and your sleep probably got better as soon as that chronic inflammation went down as well too. Like, I think a lot of people these days are just chronically inflamed. They just don't realize it because we've gotten away from what normal is supposed to feel like.
Yes, yeah. I've been getting crazy strong. And the other thing, so I was also the coach that is like, you don't need to do cardio because, I mean, realistically, a lot of our clients don't really enjoy it. And I'm about sustainability, so strength training wins. Strength training and walking, usually for most of my clients, that's like their cardio. But doing cardio, my coach has added in like some zone 2 and a little bit of kind of HIIT after some of my workouts, and my strength is drastically increasing because I'm able to recover better during the rest periods because my heart is stronger. And that's another paradigm shift. So I'm wondering, like, have you been getting stronger too?
Yeah.
With
It's funny you brought that up. I'm just going to look this up real quick while I'm saying this here. So I went to a conference back in October of last year, and I just found his name. Jason Brown was one of the speakers at. I'm not sure if you know him. He's
yes.
He helps coaches program like that. Like, that's his big thing. Like, he helps fitness. He helps fitness coaches program better for their clients. And one of his topic of conversations was around cardio. And the biggest thing he was talking about is, and he was showing all these studies that when you do aerobic conditioning work throughout the week in the appropriate amount of intensity and volume and frequency, it has significantly been shown to help improve your quality of longevity. And being a coach that helps people move pain-free and live longer with better quality of longevity, I felt like it was a slap in my face, because I was the same way. I never really programmed cardio, and I never really told people to do cardio. And then as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I just changed everything. And it was like, oh no, at least 1 to 2 days a week doing some sort of high intensity interval training is super important, because it's going to help improve your aerobic conditioning. And when I started running as well too, strength has not really been my focus, I would say, because I'm trying to, achieve a lot in running. So in terms of strength, I don't know if there's enough quality of data to show that, I'm improving there, but I do feel like my lifts have gotten better and I've gotten stronger, and I felt like I've actually built muscle, because I can recover a lot faster, and I can push more during those sessions without feeling so gassed. Like, for example, go and do 10 barbell back squats, and a lot of people are going to be huffing and puffing, and they're going to take a while before the next set. But if you're doing some aerobic conditioning work, you're going to be able to do those 10 back squats. Yes, you're going to huff and puff a little bit, but not nearly as bad, and you're going to be able to recover faster for the next set. And it's just a positive snowball effect from there.
Yeah, and it's since hiring, because I listened to Jason Brown. He had a talk at the Real Coaches Summit that I went to. I think it was like April 2024.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's fun. But I didn't apply it, because I was like, realistically, like, my clients probably aren't going to do that. But now that I've been with my coach and I've seen a difference in my performance and body composition, I might start to add it to people. I'll talk to them about it first. I'm not just going to throw it in there. But I think, like you were saying, like, it benefits like everything.
Yeah.
And there's like a new study that came out, and obviously, I mean, I know anecdotally and YouTube, but there was a new study that showed like cardio with strength training actually improves like fat loss results. It was like a periodized study, and I was like, well, that makes sense. The combination of the two were better than the two in isolation.
Yeah, which is important to note. Like, it's the cardio and the strength training, because I mean,
Yes.
I've done trainings in the past, and I'm sure that you probably know this as well too. And this is a whole different can of worms and a different conversation. But there's been studies that have shown, like, there's a popular 10-year study in northern Tanzania, which I'm not sure you've probably heard too, where they observed these people that live like cavemen, that walk miles and miles a day. They hunt for food. They do all this activity. So you would think they're burning all these calories on a daily basis. Well, what they found is they're burning at rest the normal amount, like a sedentary New York office worker. And the reason why is because our body has this amazing ability to adapt to the demands that are placed upon it, right? So doing strength training with cardio, those two combined can really unlock a lot in terms of body recomposition, strength, performance, recovery, and even just your quality of longevity from a physiological standpoint. Like, another thing too is a lot of people don't realize they have high blood pressure. It's like the silent killer in America, unfortunately, because it often goes unrecognized for years and years and years. But you doing at least some aerobic conditioning work throughout the week is going to help ensure that you're doing things to help make sure your blood pressure is not staying high, and you get that more regulated and in check to help improve your heart health as well too.
Yep. Yeah, and most people don't check that regularly. It's like only when you go to the doctor too. So everybody should have a blood pressure cuff. So if you don't have one, go to Amazon or go to the store and grab one just to see where you're at. Because that's something that's inexpensive and you can monitor it on a daily basis. But yeah, cardio helps tremendously with that. And you're right. Like the two in conjunction are important, because if you're not sending a signal for your body to adapt and build muscle, your metabolism's going to downregulate and adapt to the cardio. And most people want to be able to have a flexible kind of diet. So if your body maintains its state at 1,500 calories, good luck going out to eat.
Right. And if you build more muscle burns lots of calories at rest, which you and your audience might know as well too. So the more muscle you build, the more calories you're going to burn at rest, the more food flexibility you're going to get as well too.
Exactly. So how did you transition? So you said you started like mobility in LA, and this is a big tangent, but I'm intrigued by the mobility aspect of things, because not a lot of people get into that. And so how did you get into that, and how do you use that with your clients?
Really, really good question. So in 2020 in LA, the mobility was more just like I'm doing my own mobility, like making sure I'm warming up good before workouts, because one common thing I've seen across people that I've worked out with in college and everything was like nobody does a warm up. What's a warm up these days? People and a lot of people still skip the warm up. And I think part of it, I have to give credit to is Mind Pump as well too, because I remember when I was working at the golf course, especially in 2020 and the world shut down, I would be mowing greens and working on the golf course and always be listening to podcasts. And their podcast was one that their podcast is one I would listen to a lot. So I feel like that's kind of how it got stemmed in my brain a little bit. And then two, I remember in 2020 when I became a personal trainer, kind of a weird transition, because I had like a couple meetings with a fitness team lead, which is like the manager for the trainers. It was like 2 or 3 meetings. And then like a week later, like, okay, there's somebody on your calendar and I want you to train them. And keep in mind that I've only ever helped like friends and family. I've never actually worked with anybody. I've just learned by textbooks. So like I'm going out on the gym floor and like I'm like, it was like a whole mess. That poor guy. Thankfully, he stuck with me for like 6 months though, and he wrote a good review, which was awesome. But
that's awesome.
In those first couple of months, I think I saw just how movement dysfunction people are. Like it blew my mind. Like, okay, let's go do a squat, and then they do the most awkwardest squat I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's like, oh, okay, you really can't do that. And then just basic movements, like I get there's a client that gives me crap all the time because we're doing like core movements that are like core targeted. I'm like, are you feeling that in your core? He's like, where else am I supposed to be feeling? I'm like, you'd be surprised. People have trouble identifying where they should be feeling things. There was a lady I trained for like 3 or 4 years, and every single week was like we're relearning things, I feel like. So I think just seeing how movement dysfunction people were just kind of gave me some sort of itch to how can I help people move pain-free. And I think a lot of it also stems back because I watched my dad go through cancer and heart disease for over 10 years, and just seeing every single year his quality of life go down and not be able to move with not be able to move without pain was super hard to watch. So that kind of gave me the purpose and mission to help people as they age change the narrative, because we all know that when you get older, your quality of life goes down, your joints are going to hurt more. Well, no, you just stop moving with the purpose. Like, how are you intentionally moving every single day, taking care of your body? Because there's people out here that are 80 years old that are still running marathons and feeling great every day, and they're lifting a bunch of weight. So we got to change the narrative. So that's kind of how it's progressed into kind of where it is today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that, because it's a lot of my family and relatives, they haven't aged very well. And so it's really hard to see that, because it's like they can't do the things they used to be able to do. And you could see their whole, like you said, quality of life is decreased. They're like slightly depressed. because they can't go on a hike. They can't, go and run like they used to like enjoy doing. So it's very underrated. I feel like because I will say I sell fat loss because that's what people want, but I give them all the other things alongside it. So, but not a lot of people online try to sell quality of life or movement quality. It's not as clickbaity, but really like that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think there's a shift. I mean, maybe that's my opinion, and maybe that's not necessarily the case, but I think there's a shift online. It's slowly evolving because it used to be move more, eat less. But I think now we're shifting towards more recovery, more health conscious. I mean, Whoop has become incredibly popular for people that are not athletes, which is a recovery tool that I believe can help a lot of people that are not athletes as well too. But I think there's slowly a shift into becoming more recovery and health conscious, which is cool to see that we're moving further away from that narrative of move more and eat less.
Yeah, I definitely I see a lot of you probably saw that like there was like some voiceover and it was like move more, eat less, lose weight, move more, eat more protein, lose fat or something. Like there was like something like that and it was like very popular for a while and people would like use that audio for their reels or whatever.
Cool.
But yeah, so I definitely agree it's moving more towards like health, but still like movement, not as much. So it's refreshing. Because I don't like I know you have this like I think it's like 10-minute or 15-minute like fix. And really just like even 5 minutes of something can like help with pain. Like I dislocated my shoulder March 2024, like really badly. Snowboarding.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I still have pain. Like it was a really bad one. I'm stronger than I have ever been, but I just still have a little bit of nagging pain. And if I just like use a lacrosse ball, roll out my chest, roll out my rotator cuff a little bit on the wall, it just feels better already. So it doesn't take a lot. So I really like that you're doing that because I think with the all or nothing mindset sort of people, we think if it's not like an hour, then what's the point, sometimes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are stuck in all or nothing thinking without even realizing it too these days. Because I mean, it's just unfortunately, for lack of better word, it's kind of become the norm in the society because we see social media and we see people that have more time to devote to their health doing all these crazy things, and then we get this false narrative in our head thinking that we're not doing enough, and if we can't do enough, then we might as well do nothing at all. So we just kind of get this negative resolving loop that we just don't do anything. And really, if you do something, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, I mean, anything is better than nothing, right? So there's a famous quote, I think it came from Precision Nutrition, maybe Dr. John Bernardi wrote it, but it was like, all or nothing rarely gets you all. Usually it gets you nothing. So instead, always something.
I like that. I haven't heard that one. I've heard always something, but I like that quote because it's so true. Like I sell fat loss and stuff, and so I have my email marketing campaign. It's very mindset-y. Like I email Monday through Friday, and I'm always talking about like most of the people who are on my list or who are in my network, they've tried those fad diets, like the all or nothing sort of stuff, like 1500 calorie, Optavia, I don't know, low carb, no carb, carnivore, whatever. And they never get where they want to go because it's so unsustainable that they regress and then end up worse off than when they started.
Yeah. And I think the hard part too is those people then think that they're the reason why they're failing. And then we get stuck in this loop of, oh, I'm just a failure, right? Like nothing works for me, but rather those methods you've tried didn't work for you, which is important to move forward. Like we have to realize, oh, you're not the failure. It's just the methods you've tried is the reason that is failing you.
Yeah, that's so true. Like nobody's broken. It's just you haven't utilized the right tool yet.
Exactly. 1,000%.
Yeah. So you coach nutrition as well?
Yes, I do. I mean, that's a big part of being able to help with your quality longevity and move pain-free as your nutrition as well too. I mean, I could create the best workout program in the world, but if your nutrition's in the toilet, it's going to take a lot longer. However, I will say that, since being able to coach for 5 years, I've seen, because in the beginning, I used to think, it had to be exercise and nutrition. Like I cannot coach somebody and not have two. But it's been really, really I wouldn't say mind-boggling, but more eye-opening for me to see, because some people we have to meet in the middle. There's some people that they're just overwhelmed about nutrition. Just even thinking about it causes a lot of overwhelm. So starting with exercise, building confidence from there, encouraging them to just do simple things like being able to eat enough protein, drink your water, just doing simple things like that has been eye-opening to see just how much they can improve their health and well-being just by doing some basic things like focusing on protein and water, right? Like now, of course, there's calories and macros and all those things are important, but really, so I'm full of quotes, I guess, but there's another famous quote that says, complexity dilutes success, simplicity ensures it. So keep things simple and you're going to help ensure success.
Yeah, usually, because that's the other thing when you're like motivated and you're like, I'm going to make the change. You want to do like all the things. And that's why you fail. Usually that's why people fail, because it's so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, just focusing on one or two things, like that tends to be the key, and like slowly building upon them once they're like, you don't even have to think about them anymore, So for some people, yeah, it might just be starting to train with you like once or twice a week. And then they are in the habit and routine and they're like, hey, Logan, what about protein? And you're like, protein's great. Let's start talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember who wrote the book right now. It's on my bookshelf. James Clear. In Atomic Habits talks about if you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of year one. Just 1% better each day. So I mean, if you get 1% better every single day, in 1 year, you're going to be 37 times better. So, I mean, just doing something small over time has big impact in the future.
It totally does. I love Mind Pump too. So a lot of my clients, I use like the MAPS 15 kind of styled programming where it's like 1 to 2 exercises, maybe 3 a day. Instead of like trying to chunk out like an hour 15-minute workout a couple times a week. And people are always like, this is ridiculous. This is like nothing. And then after like doing it for a month, they're like, whoa, this is great. I'm getting great results because they're actually consistent.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I made a resource called the 15-Minute Fix you briefly talked about earlier. And it's basically some studies have been getting popular. It's still very new, but they were talking about movement snacks, which I think Mind Pump's 15-minute, I forgot what it's called, that they developed that they have from Mind Pump. But I think it's similar in regards. But basically what we do in the 15-minute fix is that we have like 3 to 5 movements in a circuit that takes about 5 minutes. And you do that 2 or 3 times a day. And you have mobility, you have body weight, you have bands, you have dumbbells, and I believe those are the different types of modalities that you can use. And then there's also some aerobic conditioning work involved, right? And it's all about doing 10 to 15 minutes of movement a day, 2 or 3 times spread out throughout the day. So
that's awesome. So what type of aerobic conditioning do you have in there?
So one simple thing people can do is go walk up the stairs for 5 to 10 minutes, right? That's easy one. Just go walk stairs. That's going to be good aerobic conditioning. Another simple one you could do is walk up some hills around your neighborhood. If you have a bike at home, my favorite way to do some high intensity interval training is to do some do a 10-calorie sprint, and then you rest for 30 seconds, do a 10-calorie sprint, rest for 30 seconds. You do that for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's a really good way to get some aerobic conditioning work in as well too.
That's awesome. Yeah, and those are, most people have access to, well, especially in Utah with the hills, have access to one or more of those.
Yeah. And the bike is the most simplest way too. Being able to get a stationary bike would be good, or a treadmill at home. Swimming's also another really good aerobic conditioning workout too. If you have that luxury. Doing basically, you could do some jumping jacks. You could do jumping jacks for 5 minutes if you wanted to. That's good aerobic conditioning work. You could do some modified burpees, because I don't think burpees are, unless you have good form, but modified burpees are a good exercise that we use with a lot of our clients. Body weight movements are good aerobic conditioning work as long as the intensity is there. So you don't really need equipment or go anywhere if you need to either. Some jump ropes even if you want, right? Make it fun, I think that's what a lot of people are missing when it comes to aerobic conditioning work. I'm gonna get sweaty, I'm gonna get my heart rate up, this is gonna suck. Dance even if you want. Put on your headphones. Dancing is a good aerobic conditioning workout. Make it fun.
Actually, I had an older couple. They were in their mid-70s, and to get more movement in, they enjoyed dancing. So they would dance.
It's a good workout. I go to a concert and then I look at my Whoop. I'm like, dang, that was a lot of strain doing that, going to a concert, right? So, it's a really good workout, dancing.
Yeah. And the key too for everything is there's so many things. Find the thing that you really enjoy. Because then it's easy. It's not a chore to go and do your conditioning or exercise, daily movement. You're actually probably looking forward to it.
1000%.
Yeah. So before running, what did you do? Any form of cardio, or was that kind of the first thing?
Well, during bodybuilding prep, I was on the Stairmaster a lot, which was not fun.
That sucks.
I was on the Stairmaster for an hour some days, because I'm prepping for a bodybuilding show. I think I dabbled and I did some bike intervals. I found out quickly I don't like the bike. I used to swim during half marathon training because I was trying to, I had a goal for a bit there to swim a mile. I need to revisit that goal. So that's kind of some of the aerobic conditioning work that I've dabbled in is swimming, Stairmaster, which is never fun. Bike intervals, I could do it, but it's not my favorite.
I really like the air bike, so I like doing that. Okay. I hate the Stairmaster. That one sucks. I had to do that today for my hit. Fun. Thanks, coach. But yeah, I was a water polo player, so I really love swimming. Hard to find a pool in Utah, and I tend to overdo it.
I don't know what it is about Utah, but all the pools are normally just booked out. It's insane how many people swim here. Trying to find a pool at the time that I have available is trying to do the a Da Vinci Code sometimes. I'm Googling, I got 10 different tabs open. I'm looking at all these different places and oh, well, this schedule, nope, that doesn't work. So yeah, it's definitely more difficult. So for those people that have a pool at home, my hats off to you. May I please come swim at your pool next time? That'd be great.
Yeah, Utah, like, well, what I've heard, so when I moved here, I wanted to keep swimming and maybe coach water polo for fun. But the only water polo is up north because they've actually like filled in a lot of pools in Utah County because of hazards, like there's like liability. And so all the high schools share like two pools. So like the
Interesting.
American Fork and then the Lehigh. So that's why they're booked up.
That makes a lot of sense then. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a bummer, but hey, maybe someone listening to this is a city planner and they'll put a pool in Eagle Mountain just because.
We can only hope.
But anyway, like this was a great conversation. Thanks for being on the podcast. And usually when I end it, I just like to give you the floor. And so what would you like to leave our audience with?
Ooh, well, what I like to learn. Okay. I think one thing that I think would benefit, I believe would benefit a lot of people that if they made it this far, because I'm assuming, Emma, if I'm not mistaken, some of your audience is looking for how they can continue to improve their health and well-being. Maybe they've tried lots of different diets. They're feeling kind of stuck and lost. And I believe one thing that would help them is something that came from my good friend and mentor, Nick Ross. And what it is being able to win the day. And what I mean by that is identify 1 to 3 things that is simple that you could do given your circumstances. Do that for 30 days, and every day you do it, it's a win on your calendar. So for example, if you do, all 3 things, it's a win. And if it's not, it's an L. And you just learn from that experience. And you can build sustainable habits by doing that. And again, if you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll be 37 times better. So imagine doing that win the day framework for the next year. I mean, you're going to be a totally different person next year just by doing that. So I hope that gives you value for those that are listening in. And if you want to find me at all, I hope that's okay to mention my social media.
So that's actually the last thing that I do is I say, where can the audience find you? So the before last thing. So anyway, where can our audience find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Champ DeCamp and then on Facebook at Logan DeCamp. And I don't remember what my TikTok is, but I'm sure you can find me at Logan DeCamp on there as well too.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll tag those in the show notes. And thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate your time. This was a great conversation. And I know that whoever's listening is going to get at least one nugget from this episode. So anyway, if you're listening and you made it to the end, thank you. We appreciate you. Please share the episode or rate the show. It helps us get in front of more people and it helps us help more people. And that's the goal of this show. So anyway, thank you for listening and I'll catch you guys on the next one.